Welcome back to another LSAT Games section. I want to jump right into PrepTest 6. I used to be able to recall when they started. I think this is a 1993 test. I think maybe we're in February of 1993, but I'm not going to check it this time. I know that I like to check every time just to make sure, but I'm not going to check it this time. Test 6. October? Okay, well, good thing I checked this time. October 1992. Prep Test 6, Section 4, Game 1. Let's get into it. Pet World has exactly 14 animals. 3 gerbils, 3 hamsters, 3 lizards, 5 snakes. That's not a business model. You're going to sell out of those in a day. What are we talking about here? That are kept in 4 separate cages, W, X, Y, and Z, according to the following conditions. And just a preview real quick, each cage contains exactly 2, 4, or 6 animals. Okay, so pretty clearly a grouping game. Let's go ahead and set up a grouping diagram with the W, X, Y, Z. The cages at the top of the diagram, so W, X, Y, and Z. Now, unfortunately, we don't know which cages have how many people, 2, 4, and 6. We could have a scenario like 4, 4, 4, and 2. If they tell us every cage gets used, which I guess they must, because they said the minimum was 2, right? It didn't say 0 was an option. That actually means the most number of times we could use 6 would be once, because you can't have something like a 2, 6, 6 scenario, because that would leave one of the cages unused. That might be something we just want to think about in terms of our deductions in a second. The animals, you'll notice, don't have names. So for my elements, it doesn't look like they're differentiated in any way. I guess I'm just going to write them down. 3 gerbils, so G, G, G. 3 hamsters, H, H, H. 3 lizards, L, L, L. And 5 snakes. Is that even the right total? 3, 3, 3, 9. Yeah, I guess 9 plus 5 is 14. All right, 14 animals for our various spaces. Grouping game. Let's figure out what cages they go in. Jumping into the clues, each cage contains exactly 2, 4, or 6 animals. So at minimum, we have to have 2, 1, 2, and so we have 6 additional spaces we can distribute. So basically, we're going to have to put them into either 2, 2, 4, and 6. That's a possibility. 2, 4, 4, and 4. But that's it, right? There's no other way to do the distributions. We can't use 6 more than once. Can we use 4 just twice? 8? No, that's not enough. That's only 14 spaces. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. Again, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. That's more of a deduction. Any cage containing a gerbil also contains at least 1 hamster. Any cage containing a hamster also contains at least 1 gerbil. Okay, interesting. So basically, if you ever see G, you also see H. So I think we can set that up just as a block. I might put a little plus on each side. Could be more, but if I ever see a hamster, I've got to see a gerbil. If I ever see a gerbil, I have to see a hamster. Any cage containing a lizard also contains at least 1 snake. Any cage containing a snake also contains at least 1 lizard. Okay, so same thing. L, S have to be together. Could be more, but at minimum we need 1 of each. Neither cage Y nor cage Z contains a gerbil. So cage Y can't have a gerbil. Cage Z can't have a gerbil. And neither cage W nor cage X contains a lizard. So no lizard, no lizard. All right, some obvious deductions. If cage Y and cage Z can't have a gerbil, they also can't have a hamster. I mean, I think that means they're going to have S and L. Again, at least 1 of each. They could have more based on the blocks, but they have to have that. And in the same way, you can't have a snake in W or X, and so you're going to have to end up with GH. GH. Basically, right off the bat, we've used 2 of everything. And it's just about placing those additional snakes and 1 each of the additional gerbils and hamsters. But actually, well, we can't really put this on the diagram, but really that means the extra gerbil and hamster have to be together in W or X. Because I can't, a cage size of 3 is no good, so I can't add just 1 gerbil or hamster. And so essentially that other GH block is going to go either in W or X. In the same way, what's left over possibly for the L and the S? Because I could have up to 6 in some of these spaces with the extra snakes, I don't know that I can draw the same deduction. But for sure, L, S, 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 they're going to go somewhere in Y and Z. I just don't know where exactly. Are there any other deductions I need to come up with? I don't think so. I think we can jump into the questions. So let's see what's going on here. Which one of the following could be a complete and accurate list of the animals kept in cages W and Y? Can we treat this like a pick a clue question? Like, Each cage is 2, 4, or 6. Do we have an answer that violates 2, 4, or 6? Yeah, C is out because it's got 1 and 4 makes 5. That's no good. 2 and 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. The rest of those look okay. I think we can treat this like a pick a clue. Y can't have a gerbil, which we said also means it can't have a hamster. So like E is no good. Lizards and snakes, lizards and snakes, lizards and snakes. The others are okay. W can't have a lizard, which we know also means it can't have a snake. So W with a lizard or a snake. Oh, I don't see that. Oh, but I did miss 1 gerbil and 2 hamsters. That's 3. So B is out. What else can we say? Between A and D, what am I missing? 2 gerbils and 2 hamsters for W? That seems like a possibility. 1 gerbil and 1 hamster also seems like a possibility. Oh, the 3 lizards. Yeah, take a look at D. There's no way that we can have all 3 lizards in the same place because we know we have to split them up between Y and Z. So D is no good and it has to be A. Number 1 is A. Not so bad. Number 2, if there are exactly 2 hamsters in cage W. Well, first of all, let's bring down what we know. 1, 2, 1, G, H. And this is saying there are actually 2 hamsters in cage W, which I think we can go ahead and say also means there are 2 gerbils. And so cages W and X are done. Right, let's block them off so we know. And the number of gerbils in cage X, which is 1, is equal to the number of snakes in cage Y, which means that would also be 1. Then the number of snakes in cage Z must be exactly blank. Well, if there's only 1 snake in cage Y, then that means the other snakes, 1, 2, 3, have to go in cage Z, but if there are 5 animals in cage Z, there have to be 6. 5 is not a possibility, and so that other lizard has to end up going in 6. So the number of snakes in cage Z must be exactly 4. Answer choice D. Again, I'm a little worried about running out of room, but otherwise I think we're doing pretty good here. If cage Z contains exactly twice as many lizards as cage Y, which of the following can be true? Z contains exactly twice as many lizards as cage Y. Okay, that's not too bad. We've got 3 lizards. If cage Z has twice as many, it's got to be 1 and then 2, right? So this is going to be SL. This is going to be SLL. Now the only question is what to do with those additional snakes. Over here, we know, of course, GH, and there's just going to be another gerbil and hamster set that get put somewhere. What are some possibilities? We know we need at least 1 other blank here. Oh, our lizards are done, so that blank has to be a snake. And so really it's just about where do those 2 extra snakes go. So I'm actually just going to put them down here. They could either go in Y or they could go in Z. And again, GH could either go in W or they could go in X. All right, let's see. Which of the following can be true? Cage Y contains exactly 2 lizards? Nope, that's impossible. Cage Y contains exactly 2 snakes? No, it can have 3, but it can't have 2. Cage Y contains exactly 4 animals? That is possible, right? That should be the answer. Now, as always, I've said this so many times, you want to be in the habit of finding that could be answer and moving on, not checking the others. So we are going to do that today. We're not going to check D and E. So let's move on to number 4. If the number of animals in cage W is equal to the number of animals in cage Z, which of the following can be true? Well, what's possible if the number of animals are equal? We know for sure about GH, SL. So that was 3 and 4. It could be this scenario with 2 equals 2. You could easily imagine a 4 scenario, 4 equals 4. It obviously can't be 6 equals 6. I'm not really seeing any other special deductions though. Which of the following can be true? Cage W contains exactly 6 animals. Oh wait, if it's 2 and 2, I was about to say we can't use 6 animals anywhere, but that's not true. If it were 2 and 2, you could imagine all the other snakes and lizards in cage Y and 2 more animals, gerbil and hamster, in cage X. And that would be your 2, 4, 6, 2 scenario. So it is possible that a cage ends up with 6, but it has, if a cage ends up with 6, it's cage Y. It can't be cage W. Cage X contains exactly 6 animals? No, that's not possible. That's never possible. Cage Y contains exactly 1 snake? I don't think that's possible because even if it were a 4-4 scenario and you put 2 of the snakes here, That only takes care of a total of 4 of them, but we have 5 snakes, so there has to be another snake in Y. So yeah, that's actually not going to be possible. Cross off C. Cage Y contains exactly 3 snakes. Can we do just 2 more here? And that means that would be SL, and then this would have to be GH. That seems possible to me. Yeah, I think it's going to be answer choice D. Okay, one thing I like about this game, so many specific questions. So even though the scenario seemed a little weird at first, we are just knocking through these. Number 5, if cage Y contains 6 animals, which of the following must be true? I may need to reuse a scenario or just kind of jot something down. Maybe I can fit it in here at the bottom. I don't know. Maybe I'll just use, maybe this will be 2 and 5. Cage Y contains 6 animals. So it has to be SL. Oh, I know. We can just move this over. I mean, you can't on paper, but I can. And if that happens, what else ends up happening? This guy could still go both places, so I don't know about him. This one's a must be true. Cage Z contains 2 snakes. I'm skipping around a little bit, but no, that's not even possible. Cage X contains 4 animals. I don't see why that would have to be true. Cage W contains 2 gerbils. It's possible. I don't see why it must be. The number of snakes in cage Y is equal to the number of lizards in cage Y. That's definitely not true. The number of snakes in cage Z is equal to the number of lizards in cage Z. Yeah, they're 1 and 1. Right, so that's E. All right, one more. At most, how many snakes can occupy cage Y at any one time? Okay, I love this. We just did a specific question that deals exactly with this scenario. So sometimes those psychometricians who write the test, they're not all bad. 4, right? We just saw 4 snakes in there. And so 6 has to be D. Let's check our work. A, D, C, D, E, D. Add cadet. 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 A, D, C, D, E, D. We did it. Nailed it. We got them all right. Well done, us. Interesting game to start the section with. I don't typically love to start the section with a grouping game. They're just not my personal favorite. Some grouping games are easy. Some grouping games are hard. But whether they're easy or hard, I just don't like them in general. So me personally, I'd probably skip that and see what else is out there. But it was definitely not terribly hard. It could be the first game you do in that section. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. There you go, Prep Test 6. We have started. I'm on schedule. I'm trying to post 2 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe. If there's a game you want me to move up in the order, a more recent game you'd like me to take a look at, comment down below. Let me know. I'm happy to throw it up. That's weird. I'm happy to move it up in my planning sequence. And otherwise, I'll see you all next time.